Alright, salutations to all of my gremlins, and I wish you a good morning. And I wanted to seize this opportunity to take this time in order to create this video expressing my thoughts of my personal thank you and reaching out to each and every one of you. And what I thought of, initially what I had thought of my first indoctrination, my initiation into the anime culture, the anime convention in itself, considering it was my first experience in my entire life. I personally, to be honest, I had an absolute delightful time of my life. And considering that this is at least a couple days after that I had attended this event in particular. Well, however, I wanted to say this was that I thank you. I personally thank you to each and every one of you, to those of you who I had met, and thank you for the absolute wonderful time of my entire life. The other time that I've had something similar as fun as this was indeed the zombie walk, which was last year, and that really got crazy. So that definitely was worth it to me, in my perspective, in my all honesty. And first and foremost, most importantly of all, if you are from the Taiyou-Con, from the anime convention, and if you had subscribed to me and watched my videos and enjoyed watching my videos, all that I could say is I cannot thank you enough, and I do truly appreciate it. I feel ever so grateful, and thank you once again. And I hope that you continue to follow me in my path of my journey into the light, as I discover with each day of my life to perfecting myself, replacing the old carbon copy of myself from the previous day as I transition and transform into the next. And with each day as we, you the viewer, and including myself obviously, that we could constantly evolve into something greater as we discover our, deeper sense, deeper scale of our perspective for our aspirations, positivity and the light, and whichever else. And to be honest, after this convention in itself, I feel, to be honest, inspired, even deeper than compared to, as opposed to what I was before. This had truly inspired me personally to become more creative, more open-minded, and to be, to always constantly remind myself, to remain who I am as an individualist, as a human being, and for me to maintain my balance of my walk inside of the light, and for me to always remember to be positive, above all to be positive. And while I was there at the convention, I might have gone a little bit crazy. One thing I've never quite done before was dance, like publicly dance. I was always more or less just nervous. It was very nerve-wracking, and I'm very self-conscious and more or less insecure about that kind of thing. No, it's all good because it's all good because I remind myself that I am my own human being. I am of my own origins, my own individualist. So it wasn't as nervous as I would have expected in myself that I would have been. And it was something more along the lines of something natural, something that had just come to me all of a sudden. And I had an absolute great time of my life. While I was there as well, I had pranked at least 10 to 15 different people, and, and all in which were absolute perfect reactions to me. I mean, it could not have been any more greater than that. But at the same time, for all of those of you whom I had met, I absolutely was delighted on meeting each and every one of you. I thought that was something so incredible to me. And there's not enough words that I could ever express in my all honesty of how truly grateful I really am. And meeting each and every one of you, you know, there at the convention and the expo in itself, that was absolutely, I thought it was so surreal to me, of the entire event in particular. I had so much fun. It was something so incredible and enjoyable to me, to where I want to continue this path of attending in the future, for future upcoming events, for conventions. And I salute each and every one of you, and thank you all so much for showing me a great experience and allowing me to, you know, feel that revolution of an experience that was something so perfect and incredible to me. And also, I absolutely loved all the people's costume there. I could obviously tell that much of the people, of the attendees, actually had put so much investment of their time and energy, all their efforts and dedication and their passion into creating their own costumes. And I think that is truly something inspiring. And I especially appreciate of the American culture and the United States for, you know, taking something as adapting to my Japan culture, and for taking that obligation to perfect it in a perspective where it does not matter of what ethnicity you are or for who you are, and we still come together as a collective, as we combine in our equality and combine within ourselves as a gathering of other human beings, for us to embrace each other's differences and similarities, and for us to come together as a community for a particular event or in our daily lives, you know, for us to find it absolutely inspiring to me, considering that how all of us come together despite of our differences and our cultures, and yet we embrace our differences and yet similarities, and we come together for a particular event and embrace one another's cultures as we become tolerant as well as knowledgeable within each culture and of each other's culture, and for us to celebrate someone else's culture, you know, especially celebrate my Japan culture. And thank you to each and every one of you. I salute you for because you have such a passion and you have an absolute love for my culture, and that does signify, and that does show a representation of something greater. And it truly does, it deeply inspires me. So thank you so much for upholding and preserving, as well as, you know, educating others about my culture. So I truly do appreciate that a lot. And it does mean the world to me. And it does mean the absolute world to me, that how how many of you actually help to preserve and educate others about our culture. And one thing more I wanted to say was, I had said this specifically within the introduction of my vlog, part 1 of the convention and the Anime Expo itself. Most importantly, I wanted to say was, always remain true to yourselves. You know, just one thing in particular I wanted to say was, always remain true to who you are as a human being. And to think that there were so many people there, and you know, there seems to exist a misconception of anime conventions, of the people who decide to cosplay and or otherwise, and people that, you know, particularly attend those events like that. And people on the outside realm, they have this misconception to where they believe that many of us are supposedly, you know, at least according to their perspective and their mental frame of mind, that we're somehow all geeks and nerds, or one or the other. It is absolutely not true. I mean, there might be that small fraction, percentage of people, for those of us who are, but then again, that should not dictate or, you know, regulate your or consume your consciousness for your perception of other human beings. Your perception of other human beings should always, and your projection outward into the world, should always be something of the positive, and it should always be something vibrant. And I myself, I've always been someone open-minded, as I always had accepted people accepted everyone for who they are. And I'm just someone who is very universal, intellectual, and open-minded. And I have met so many wonderful and great people while being there. And I could honestly vouch, and I could tell you that, as I speak on their behalf, not everyone is that way. And they're just ordinary, perfect, you know, human beings, much like myself. And they're just ordinary human beings with extraordinary abilities and talents. I love how much that they had expressed their artistic creativity and their outlets, and I truly did appreciate that a lot. I mean, that to me was very inspiring, considering that I do a lot of, quite a bit of DIY clothing, and for this event, I went as myself. I didn't go as anything in particular. I hope to see more people come together to celebrate different cultures and the many different aspects of cultures in the future. And this is the sole purpose and intention of my videos, of why I do my videos, is not only to vitalize and show a more positive perspective of human nature, as well as to share a positive influence with all of you in hopes to change your perspective from something negative into something positive and brighter of the light. It is also to remind people and to simply educate the minds of other human beings of the differences of cultures and how we could work towards a progression of putting aside our differences into becoming a collective, for us to embrace one another's differences and to put aside our prejudices and, you know, judgments of one another and or otherwise other things negative. And I truly hope that in the time that you had watched my videos, that you yourself, you had received a positive influence from myself as you continue to perfect yourselves, to better yourselves, and become something greater than yourselves every day of your lives, and to go out and to share a positive influence and share that light with others. And for you to take on a responsibility and investment within yourselves to go out to helping others. And I hope that during the time that I've been creating videos, I had created an equality and brought together people and allow them to embrace each other. I sincerely hope so, because this is a purpose of my videos, and I hope to combine the different cultures of the world together, and for us to more, and I hope for us to more embrace each other's cultures and our differences as time progresses, as the more that my videos reach out to a wider and expand out to a wider audience. And this is my vision that I wanted to share with each and every one of you through my journey, through this adventure. And this is my ultimate vision, is for me to receive as much of an audience as possible, and for me to share my videos with the world, and hopefully in hopes to inspire others, inspire you one way or another. So thank you for watching, and see ya.